Hey guys, today we're going to do three things. So we're going to go through Psalm 23 and then we're going to talk about it really quick. And then at the very end, the very last thing I want to do is I'm going to play a song based on Psalm 23.
Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death.
And I want to get your guys' feedback. Yeah, that's what we got planned for today. For those of you guys who don't know, Psalm 23 was written by David. So the title of it is The Lord, the Shepherd of His People. That kind of explains the perspective of the writer. I'm going to read it really quick and then I'm going to go through what stands out to me. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me besides the still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yeah, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. I'm gonna come back to that one, that's interesting. You anoint my head with oil. My cup runs over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. All right, now we're gonna break it down. So obviously, the Lord is my shepherd. He's making a statement because David was a shepherd. He became a king, but he started as a shepherd. It's really a really beautiful story of an underdog. Talk about an underdog. He is the underdog. So he had a lot of experience as a shepherd. And so when he thinks of God, he understands what it's like to be a shepherd, to shepherd a flock, to take care of a flock, to have to rescue a sheep, to have to leave the 99 to go to the one and rescue the one that's in the ditch, right? He knows this. So he's writing from a place of experience, right? So that's the first thing we got to keep in mind. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. What does that mean? It means I don't need anything. God himself is supplying all my needs. Just like a shepherd would supply all the needs of the sheep, right? Here's where it's really interesting. He says, he makes me lie down in green pastures. So here's something to think about is that you can't make a sheep lie down. You could try, but you're not going to be able to. They will only do it if they're in a comfortable situation where they feel safe, and you're not going to actually make that sheep lie down. So it's interesting, David being a shepherd, knowing that you can't make a sheep lie down, him saying, he makes me lie down in green pastures, talking about the Lord. And what that means from his perspective as a shepherd, because he supplies everything I need, I trust him so much that I am lying down in these green pastures. All right, I'm going to try to speed it up because I haven't even gotten to my favorite part. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. You've heard this a million times. So what does it mean? The valley of the shadow of death. What it means to me is I'm going through my darkest times, right? Though I go through my darkest times, I will fear no evil. That's the way I read it, right? I read, though I go through my darkest times, though I'm going through this impossible task, whether it be because I fell into sin, or because I'm getting attacked, even if I haven't fallen into sin, or, I'm going through trials, tribulations, even when I'm going through the darkest times of life, I will fear no evil. Why? And here he says it right here. For you are with me, right? I have the Spirit of God living inside of me. So I don't need to worry. I don't need to worry. There's nothing that can actually harm me. They could harm my body. They could do whatever they want. But me, who God made me to be, God's got me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. I don't know what the difference is between a rod and a staff. If anyone knows the ancient Hebrew shepherd way of shepherding sheep and could explain this particular verse, that would be great. I'm thinking as a sheep, right? He's looking on the ground and he's seeing the shepherd's staff. As the shepherd is walking, he's seeing the staff and he's thinking, the shepherd is still with me. Why? Because I can see proof on the ground that the shepherd is with me. Even if I'm not looking up at the shepherd, I can see his staff on the ground. And here's where it gets interesting. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup runs over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. The idea of preparing a table here, I'm going to prepare a dinner for you, right? If I was to say, I'm going to prepare dinner, come over to my house, I'm going to prepare dinner. And you see the table is really well prepared. That's like the opposite of us being enemies. I am inviting you into my home. I'm preparing a table. I'm preparing dinner. And it's very hospitable. You are a guest, right? The way that I would take it is God is saying,
so you're going to be a guest at the table of your enemies.
What does that mean? That means that God's going to open doors. And because he's going to fill you with peace, love, joy, patience, self-control, all the fruit of the Spirit, I should say, and even your enemies, you're going to have a place at their table. That's prepared by who? The Lord. All right, I'm going to close this really quick. And I'm going to tell you guys something that the preacher talked about at Lake Mary Church that resonated with me. So he was talking about how God is our shepherd in the sense that he guides us. What does a shepherd do? He guides the sheep. He guides, he protects, he supplies. What does that mean? He supplies food, water, shelter, and then protection. Like he supplies all that. Without the shepherd, the sheep are completely clueless. In fact, sheep without a shepherd are very stupid. There's no common sense in them. So God is our shepherd. He's the one who directs our steps. He's the one who guides us. He's the one who walks with us, who protects us, who rescues us, all that. How amazing is it going to be when we die and we have the opportunity to be in front of the one person that has been there our entire life? Our entire life he's been there. And it's like, when you have people in your family that seen you grow up, right? Maybe like an uncle or grandparents or family friends, whatever it may be. And they're like, oh my gosh, I remember when you were this big, and you've gotten so big and all this stuff. It always feels kind of like nice and warm because they've known you for so long. They've seen you through your ups and downs and all that kind of stuff. Like, oh my gosh, I remember this, I remember that. And it makes you feel very kind of like warm, like they've been there, they've been a part of your life. Now imagine that feeling, but instead of it being someone that you visually see, it's someone that you felt your whole life. You felt that presence there your whole life. You've heard that person's voice guiding you. You've seen that person show up when you thought it was the end and you were ready to give up. And then that person showed up and they saved you and they rescued you. It's this mystical spirit that guides you through life. And at the end of your life, this person that's been there my whole life, guided me, that's rescued me, I get to meet that person face to face. I get to meet the person that has been there from the day I was born, before I was even born, who had planned my life. Each one of us is going to have that opportunity to be able to be face to face with that voice that guided us our whole life, that voice that guided us, that we didn't necessarily see, but we trusted it. It's so beautiful. Anyone who's has that experience to be able to meet the voice that's been guiding them their whole life, it's going to be so intense. So intense. As promised, here's a song I wrote about Psalm 23.
The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me by still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in the path of righteousness for His name's sake. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff comfort me, comfort me. You prepare the table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup runs over. Surely goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life. 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 And I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. And I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever, forever, forever.